It's ninja time again, kids. This is my second ninja movie review in a short while, and I don't know if I'm going to make it a thing or not, but hang on and find out. Now, a little while ago I reviewed Revenge of the Ninja, which I was pleasantly surprised at how much I enjoyed that movie, like 40 years after it was made. Today I'm going to review the movie that I actually thought was the sequel to that, or the third in the Ninja trilogy, but actually it has nothing to do with that, although it does star SOOO again. This is Pray for Death. Yeah, Pray for Death came out in 1985, just like Revenge of the Ninja stars SOOO. You know, because he's in all the ninja movies, right? Including this one, 9 Deaths of the Ninja, which I have yet to watch, but that's going to be next on Ninja Time here on Andy Boy Comics and Toys, probably. And also, much like that other movie, this one starts with a ninja defending his home against other ninjas. That's exactly how Revenge of the Ninja started. And for a minute there, I thought I put in the wrong movie because it started exactly the same way. But then we realized we get about 4-minute ninja intro scene, ninja destruction, ninja on ninja action. Then it turns out that it's a TV show that SOOO's kids are watching on TV. And they were like, man, that black ninja looks exactly like Dad. That's because it is. Or at least that's not really implied that he's the actor in that TV show, like in the context of the movie, but he looks like him and he really is a ninja, so maybe he was the guy on that TV show. Whatever, they never explain that. And these were actually SOOO's real kids too. And as far as kid actors go, they're fine, and they're actually quite good at martial arts too. Also, like Revenge of the Ninja, SOOO relocates from Japan to the United States. Happy family in Japan, but they're just discussing what if we move to America and try and get our big break and work hard and make a success and make a living in America. Now, this time, everybody's alive when they get there. Last time, the wife and the youngest child were killed by evil ninjas. This time around, nobody died. Not yet. Now, last time I think it was supposed to be Los Angeles. This time it's Houston, Texas. He moves his entire family over to the States, and they open a restaurant. And strangely enough, you don't really ever get to see the restaurant. I mean, you don't see them actually cooking anything. You don't see them actually serving anybody, other than you see the front counter and you see them taking some money from somebody one time. And just like Revenge of the Ninja, there is a crime plot in which they are unknowingly pulled into, the family that is, SOOO in particular. They're being shown the restaurant by the guy who's selling it, who's gonna retire and move to Atlantic City or something, some old guy. This benevolent old man. He shows them this back room, which really isn't a back room. It's actually like a separate storefront that comes with the building. He just doesn't use it. He just uses it for storage. But he hadn't actually been there in years. So in the meantime, bad guys are hiding jewels under the floorboards in this empty, vacant space. One of them is a crooked cop, and he's working with the mafia, and the mafia wants them to make the drop and put the jewels under the floorboards and leave them there. And the one crooked cop, he's changes his mind, and he decides to take the jewels for himself. Mafia doesn't like that. So they come back and they find that the jewels aren't there. They suspect SOOO and his family, the new owners. They must have moved in. They must have went through the place and grabbed the jewels and let's get them. Because, well, first of all, they go after the old guy, as he's in his station wagon driving away to the airport or whatever. They fucking kill him and they blow up his station wagon. Then you meet our villain here, bad guy named Limehouse Willie. Limehouse Willie is like the most sadistic, evil bastard. You know, he's like the main enforcer for the mafia in the area. You know, he likes to torture people and enjoys killing people. He's not like a relatable villain. No, he's just straight up bad dude. Anyway, so Sho Kosugi and his family are terrorized by these thugs, by the mafia, and somewhere in there they kidnap one of his sons and beat up the other one. Yeah, that's right, they beat up a little kid, or they slam his face in the door, car door in this one. Yeah, it's a little violent. You get to see a good kid ninja fight there as well. And then Sho Kosugi goes to rescue his kid. They manage to capture him as well, and they kind of torture him to try and get the information, like, where's the jewels, give them to us. And but he manages to escape with his son. It just escalates from there. Later on, they actually run down his wife and youngest son in a street with their car, or with a truck or something. Both of them are sent to the hospital. Now, Sho Kosugi has to get that, you know, car chase, like, car stunt thing out of the way, so he chases after the truck and he jumps on the back of the truck. He does some backflip over the truck at one point or something. You know, manages to kill the guys that ran down his wife and kid. And he goes after Limehouse Willie. And he basically ninjas his way in there, beats up a bunch of other guys. And then he turns out the lights, and then he, like, threatens Limehouse Willie and says, if you keep harassing my family, you will know suffering. You will pray for death. Where you get the title, right? Then he just lets him go. Why didn't he just kill him right there? I mean, he knew he was the guy responsible. He knows he's the bad guy. Anyway, then Limehouse Willie doesn't like being humiliated like that. So he sends himself to the hospital. He, like, cuts his arm. Ambulance come pick him up and takes him to the hospital because he knows that the wife and kid are there. And escapes from the hospital bed, kills the doctor, dressed as a doctor, sneaks into the wife's room, stabs her to death, kills her. I think he even kind of rapes her too, because he's an evil pervert, before killing her. And then he goes to go after the son, and the cops manage to stop him, but he does kind of take them out, and he escapes without killing the son, and then he escapes the building and he's gone. And then Sho Kosugi gets to the hospital and he finds his wife is dead and his son is, you know, doing better and he's not dying, but his wife is dead, and this is where he gets his revenge. The revenge of the ninja. See, last time they got the whole thing taken care of in the first act. You know, the whole character motivation in the first act. In this one, basically the wife doesn't die until, like, Act 2, end of Act 2. And then Act 3 is the ninja revenge, right? Because up to this point, the only, like, ninja action we had was, well, some stuff from a couple of flashbacks that lasted a couple of minutes, and that one opening scene that was like 2, 3, 4 minutes long. And that was it. And we're 2/3 of the way through the movie, and yeah, he's kind of hidden in the shadows and maybe done a couple of kicks, but we haven't seen him dressed as a ninja, because that's part of the montage, you know. So he puts on his ninja helmet, which I always thought was really gaudy, and why would a ninja wear that? Wouldn't that, like, make noise and also reflect light so that he couldn't hide in the shadows very effectively? Whatever, it's a mystical ninja thing, I guess. Anyway, yeah, and then he goes after Limehouse Willie and eventually kills him. But we get the big, long-ass ninja attack scene, and I'm gonna say I think it's choreographed really well, all the fight scenes, but it's not shot very well, in that there's a couple of times where he does a kick or something like that, clearly does not make contact with the guy, that just, like, falls over. I mean, you can see, like, a foot of space between his foot and the guy's face. Really? You didn't catch that in editing? Like, in your dailies? Like, reshoot that shit, man. But whatever. Well, there's a good amount of ninja action. Mostly it's like firing arrows, a lot of shuriken get thrown around, throwing stars. That's always cool. There's a few, like, sword deaths, like people that get impaled or slashed, but it doesn't really have the gore that Revenge of the Ninja had, even though it wasn't a lot. Like, there was a lot of blood in Revenge of the Ninja. I didn't really see that much in this one. And that was kind of a little disappointing, with the fake kicks and the lack of blood. The best thing that this movie has going for it, well, other than Sho Kosugi, who's awesome, and look at what this guy can do. Other than him, the best thing about this movie is Limehouse Willie. Now, the actor that plays Limehouse Willie was actually the screenwriter for this movie. Funny that he gets so many lines and so much character exposition, and I was going to say development, but he doesn't develop anything other than he just gets more evil as the movie goes along. And he's like super tough. And it's like he's like a real challenge for this trained ninja that's used to taking down guys in like one blow or whatever. And then there's this Limehouse Willie guy, this like old, well, I don't know, like this is a 50-year-old guy, just likes to torture people and fights Sho Kosugi with an axe. Also a chainsaw later in the movie. And, well, Sho Kosugi, being the superior fighter, of course, he takes some lumps, but he manages to take out Limehouse Willie and basically does make him pray for death. No, we don't get to see it or anything like that, but he basically, he dies in like a Looney Tunes kind of way. Except it's not Looney Tunes, and he screamed quite a bit. If you've seen Revenge of the Ninja, you've seen this movie. Revenge of the Ninja, for whatever reason, I thought was far superior to this. I did like the acting in this. I really liked Limehouse Willie, and I didn't mind like the side characters and stuff, but I thought that stuff was all there in the other movie. Plus, that one had more gore, way more ninja on ninja action. This one, he's just beating up a bunch of guys in business suits with guns and doesn't take a single bullet, I don't think, in the whole movie. I don't know, it was just repeating that other one. They tried to make it more gritty crime, these are really bad guys and, they deserve to die and whatever. And at the end of the movie, the cops look the other way and say, oh, some mysterious ninja took out these guys that were harassing you. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you? He's like, nope. End of the movie. This one wasn't terrible, but because of the flaws that it had, I found it a little bit boring. I wasn't that impressed with the fights and the fight scenes. There's nothing really new in here. Well, I guess the helmet, the mask thing was new, but it looks stupid. Well, I guess I got to give it a letter grade though, so I don't know, I guess Pray for Death, with its flaws, still squeaks out a C+. I would have rated it higher if maybe the dubbing was better, because some of the actors are dubbed in here, and maybe if the fight scenes were shot a little better, I would have liked it more. If there were a little more blood and gore, I also would have liked that more. But yeah, a lot of those things are lacking, so yeah, there you go, C+. So until the next ninja martial arts / action adventure movie comes up, have a good one out there, everybody.